Hi, what do you know about Lent? L-E-N-T, Lent. In the Christian world, Lent is 40 days preparation for Easter. It's to share in the journey of preparing for the resurrection of Jesus Christ. And in churches and just in Christian communities or as individuals, people who believe in Jesus feel that they can participate in Lent. Many people give up something. So in the very wealthy world, you might give up chocolate or coffee. And the idea is that that brings you closer to the purposes of why you're alive. Well, I'm not so sure if it does, but generally Lent has been associated with that. More recently, Lent has been a little bit more about committing to something rather than just giving up something. Though giving up does mean commitment, sometimes a positive thing saying, during Lent, I'm going to take this action, whether it's give up something or whether you do something new. Well, the world does need something new, doesn't it? And the wealthy world does need to give up a fair bit. But if you have nothing, how do you apply that to Lent? Well, I don't know what the answer is, but I know that a lot of the world has very little. And in the world I live in, we have too much of everything. But I'm thinking about Lent and what it means. Well, the story of Jesus is quite challenging because with nothing, he goes into the wilderness. He's been baptized. It's like a commissioning, an affirmation of your purpose. So in his baptism, God is pleased with his son, and now his son goes to fulfill his purpose. But before Jesus fulfills his purpose, or as part of it, he goes into the wilderness. And this is the period of Lent that the Christian experiences and much more than remembers, applies to their life. Well, in that wilderness, we are told in the biblical account, Jesus has 3 temptations. They're very big. They're temptations from the power of evil to the power of all good and love. So the first one is, Jesus, turn the stones into bread. If you're hungry, hey, simple solution. Everyone needs bread. Second temptation is, Jesus, see all these kingdoms. You've got all this power. You can have it. Anything you want. Just bow down to me or bow down to evil. Give in to greed. Give in to want. And then the third temptation is Jesus is surveying everything, and by now immense suffering, I think, is taking part in the soul and in the body of Jesus. And the temptation is, if you fell, the angels would pick you up. They'd stop you being hurt. They'd stop you being destroyed. You don't have to suffer anything. Well, what about that? Food, the essentials of life, coming easily. Power, to do whatever you like, anywhere you like, particularly as God's heart is good. And the third, no suffering, never knowing pain. My gosh, how would your life be if you didn't have to worry about food? Well, if you're in my world, you worry about too much food, but if in your world you didn't have to worry about trying to find a place where you can influence, where you could make any decision you wanted. So what would that mean? And then the third, no pain or suffering, no inequality, no injustice. Now they are the temptations of Lent. And I'd like to talk to you about those in Pauline's place. And Lent has already started, but it's never too late to enter into the meaning of why we're alive. And as a Christian, I truly believe that Jesus is very much alive in me, in you, in the world, even though at times it doesn't feel like it. But I think this time of preparation for the purpose of life is very important. And as Christians celebrate what it means for Jesus to be alive, it's important that Christians have a look at these great big temptations of the wilderness. Well, maybe you don't feel you're in a wilderness, or maybe you do. But I'd like to walk this journey with you, and let's think about what it means for our lives. So, next Pauline's Place, I want to talk about turning those stones into bread. But for today, God be with you in your spirit. God be with you as you live. God will share the pain and the strife and bring meaning to your life. And everyone you touch on your way, God be with you every day. Have a really good rest of the day. Take care, and I'll see you. Bye-bye.